UK's upcoming natural bodybuilders. He's one of the Empowered by Lifting clients, which means basically he's eating anything he loves and also living a sustainable lifestyle. But we'll go into that a little bit further on. Mm-hmm. So what we're going to talk about is James's amazing journey from quite overweight, we could say.
Really overweight, yeah.
To where you are now.
Mm-hmm.
And how he's got to that. Basically. Mm. So at the moment we are, 20 weeks from...
Just over 20 weeks out.
20 weeks from a natural bodybuilding show. We're doing first of all, the UK Drug-Free Bodybuilding Association.
Yeah.
And then probably BMBF, maybe if we get ready in time. And then also our competition, the Empowered by Lifting Natural Bodybuilding Competition too. That being said, he's living a lifestyle where we can basically eat anything he wants. That includes bread, chocolate. What's your favourite food you had before? Chomp. Cereal, basically.
Biscuits.
So, what I want to explain today is not only the journey, but how you can enjoy this journey too. And that also means that you can also eat chocolate, cake, bread, or any of the foods that you love to satisfy yourself. So I hope you enjoy, guys.
Yeah, obviously I was ridiculously overweight. I was sitting at around 22 stone, 45-inch waist, and obviously took it upon myself, needed to change, lost a lot of weight, but read all the fitness magazines and sort of did what they told me to do, ate clean, should we say.
Should we just explain clean?
So clean being sort of foods that the fitness industry portray to be good for us.
So we normally call clean like what you get in a meal plan: broccoli, rice,
chicken, fish.
Brown rice is normally used.
Yeah.
Fish. Normally there's no flavour on it, and it's
exactly.
just quite tedious to eat, and it's normally a short period of time. So it's like unsustainable is what we call a clean diet. So let's say milk, for example. Is milk clean? Probably. The fitness industry would say milk is clean, but milk is also processed, goes through a factory. It's about being processed or not being processed. Mm-hmm. So there's a really big mismatch of what is clean and what is not. Mm-hmm. So we'll go back to what you were saying then. You were talking about you ate a clean diet. What was your clean diet?
Ate a clean diet. It was mainly consisted of salads, vegetables, your clean meat such as your chicken breast, no skin, white fish, just all the foods that the fitness industry portray. That's what we need to eat, and I sort of got sucked into the whole.
So if you went off that
industry food,
how would you feel?
I'd feel really guilty. I'd take Tupperware around with me, wouldn't be able to go out. Friends had asked me to go out and I'd have to say no, I can't, sorry, make an excuse. So it was really restrictive on my whole lifestyle.
Would you say that was was it really mundane?
Definitely, yeah.
Did it work?
It worked in the sense of scale weight, but as time went on, I never really achieved the body composition that I wanted to be. You know, looking at the magazines and the cover models, etc., I was just blinded by what I should be doing and what I shouldn't be doing, and I just seemed to be going round in circles. So I did lose a lot of scale weight, but in terms of body composition, as you'll probably see on some of the photos, it was my body. I lost a lot of weight, but I just became a smaller version of what I was before.
Last night you were saying to me, you were talking about during that time you felt really unhealthy.
Yeah.
You went to the point where you were talking about dry skin problems and issues because you were ridiculously under-eating.
I think it was a case of the fact that I was meant to be eating these foods that were meant to be healthy for me, but because I was sticking to the same plan every single day, I think the fact is that I was actually missing out on a lot of nutrients that I should have been eating.
Yeah.
So even though it was portrayed to be healthy, I was missing out on so many vitamins and minerals because my food was staying the same every day.
Okay. So did you? I remember you telling me you kind of fell off the bandwagon, so to speak. So you decided that you'd lost loads of weight, and you were happy that the amount of weight you lost. But then you talked about wanting to gain muscle.
Yeah.
So maybe you can explain what you did then.
So what I did then was obviously started buying your general sort of bodybuilding magazines, how to gain weight. Obviously a lot of it was just eat as much as you can, get the calories in, so many carbs. Yeah. And then it was just sort of a vicious circle because I started to just get fat again. And again, I just probably looked even worse, and it just kept going round and round in circles.
Okay. So maybe at this point we'll have a look at a picture of you on here. This is your picture
before when I first ever started my journey.
Yeah.
And then obviously the next picture is when just before I came on board with Empowered by Lifting. Yeah. So obviously it's dramatic weight change, but obviously my body composition wasn't.
This is a back shot of James where he's basically he's trained a lot, but it was still following this clean under eating lifestyle, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah.
Would you say you're massively overeating on protein?
Massively. Yeah. I mean, I was probably eating 350, maybe even 400 grams of protein. Yeah. Very little fats, very little carbs.
Okay. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a little while. So basically, if you want to take a look at the picture, let's bring this one up. So the picture now is you pretty much now.
Yeah. That's last week, just before I came over to see Chris. It's basically, how far are we in now? 23,
24 weeks.
24 weeks. So that's 24 weeks from when I started Empowered by Lifting to now. And obviously another 20 weeks to go. So obviously looking forward to.
So as you can see, this isn't like an awesome difference from eating clean, which you thought was right, to coming on board with Empowered by Lifting, which is probably, would say, you've eaten the most food you've ever eaten in your life.
Yeah.
Apart from obviously when you put the weight on.
Yeah.
But the most food you've eaten in the last 5 years or so.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also, some would say, who would eat clean, the most dirtiest food he's ever eaten.
Yeah.
So you've eaten chocolate, you've eaten
ice cream, cake, convenience foods, when the time's been needed, when it's fit my lifestyle, and I've not had food on board with me.
Yeah. So what we'd say is you've had a huge variation of food, which going back onto the unhealthy side of it, the micronutrients, vitamins, minerals, because you were eating such a huge variety of foods.
Yeah.
You was eating everything.
Yeah.
Vegetables, salad, tomatoes, the list goes on.
Yeah, every day was different, just depended on
so that means your body's taking a bit of micronutrients from the vegetables, going as far as taking a bit of zinc from the chocolate or whatever is in all of the variety of foods.
Whatever's the body needs, yeah.
So then it's taking it. So then all of a sudden you become more healthy.
Yeah.
And obviously you can see from the picture, it's become a lot more lean, but not skinny. It's become very muscular now. Big difference. So that being said, guys, don't be confused, because mostly the diet's healthy. The majority of what James eats is vegetables and whole foods. But occasionally, when he has a craving, he'll fit in a little bit of something that he needs to eat to keep on adhering to the diet. So overall, adherence is most important for the diet.
Yeah.
So that means let's ask you a question. Can you see yourself eating like this for the rest of your life?
Definitely.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the most perfect diet. If you ask a clean eater, maybe they like to eat clean. Someone who's eating just their contest prep clean eating. Can you eat like that for the rest of your life? No. It's impossible. Because it's not nice. So what we do as Empowered by Lifting is we have thousands of people following this lifestyle. Okay, and what this lifestyle is an evidence-based, structured, flexible way of eating. So we're going to try and explain what that is. And it boils down to 3 very, very simple things. Number 1, eat the foods you want to eat. Number 2, use modern technology to track your food on MyFitnessPal. That's 2, okay? And the third, and the most important thing, of overall diet, overall fitness in the 21st century is ignore everything else.
Ignore the BS.
Ignore the BS. I'm not going to swear on camera. And that's the most important things.
Yeah.
And when I'm coaching somebody, I actually spend most of my time trying to avoid myths and misconceptions and what's true and what's false. So that's where we go on. So the question is, why ignore everything else? We live in a world of profitability, productivity. The supermarkets are pushing calories and food onto you. The supplement industry is pushing food and calories onto you. Let's just stop for a moment. Let's think of £4.5 million. What does that feel to you? It's a lot. Now make that £4.5 billion. Can you comprehend £4.5 billion?
No.
Probably not. That's the size of the fitness industry. So that is £4.5 billion of internet, magazines, personal trainers in the gym, the entrance to the gym, trying to push supplements on you. Let's take 1 million of that £4.5 billion and push protein on people. So make sure everybody eats loads and loads and loads and loads and loads of protein. So you end up with whey, which is probably one of the most profitable forms of food in the world. Probably, I don't know. Push whey on people. So they push proteins on people, they push amino acids on people. We're not going to go into too many myths here, but basically it's overall it's the supplement industry pushing things on people. Fat burners, diet plans. What did we say last night? It kind of brainwashes people.
It does brainwash people, and it's funny because the way Empowered by Lifting have transformed my life. It's funny because if the fitness industry actually took hold of the flexible way of eating, the flexible lifestyle, how much more fun it'd be.
Yeah.
How much more money they'd make. Because everybody would want to be on board. Who really wants to sit there and drink a protein shake and some greens powder and take all these pills? No, we want to eat.
We want to eat.
We want to eat.
Exactly.
We want to eat all the foods that we enjoy and we like to eat.
You actually blew my head off last night.
Yeah.
In this conversation, my idea of it was that if we reduce this amount of BS and people start flexible dieting and eating our way, and we took over the world with it, and everyone just was dead happy, then people wouldn't buy supplements. Well, things change. The world changed. Look at what's happened in the last. The more has changed in the last 60 months than it has in the last 60 years.
Yeah.
So it's going to change more. So what's happening now is people are understanding that flexible dieting is what is easy way to do, and unfortunately, because of this productivity and profitability, we have to do a flexible diet lifestyle. So I said yesterday, there's studies out there showing that 95% of what's on the internet is basically crap. So imagine if you could have that £4.5 billion fitness industry shouting at you, and you could just kind of see through it,
that.
Open it up, and the knowledge on the other side of it gave you that 5% of what is true.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people following what we do, and they're following that 5%. Most of them are happy, and most of them are just living a sustainable lifestyle, which is great in my aspect. So since coming on board with Empowered by Lifting, how do you feel about it? Basically, it's been 23 weeks now. So
yeah, it's been. I mean, the best thing is I've never felt hungry once, which is great. The good thing about Chris and the team is that I think when they set the business up, you weren't actually intending to for it to be a profitable business. I think you were setting it up to obviously help people like myself, just get away from all the myths and the fad diets and actually educate people on what the truth is. So I thought I was really powerful in terms of communication as well. Anything I've needed, I've made mistakes throughout, life isn't perfect. I've made mistakes throughout my prep. I've accidentally forgotten to track something, or my app's been playing up, or something as simple as that. And Chris has been on the end of the phone, or an end of an email, and he's got back to me straight away, which I think's been...
We had the expression, you've got a coach in your pocket.
Coach in the pocket,
24/7.
That's it. But yeah, it's been great. When I first started, we had a bit of a Skype consultation with Chris. We talked through obviously my past and where I was at, and I think he took that information and sort of decided where I was at in terms of how easily I was going to be converted over to be a flexible dieter, and how open-minded I potentially am.
Yeah. So I'll listen to what you're saying, and I'll take what knowledge you've got and kind of understand after speaking to hundreds of people what you need to hear.
Yeah,
and I'll kind of give you that knowledge, not too much, otherwise it will make you be able to understand it, and not too little, so you get really engaged with it.
Exactly. And the thing is with this, you have to be open-minded, because it almost is too good to be true, but it's not.
Yeah.
It is so easy to stick to. So
we're sitting here with living proof of a lifestyle where you can eat the foods that you love, and James is the living proof of. I suppose I'm also the living proof.
Exactly. Yeah.
I get myself to bodybuilding stage condition, which you can see on the picture here.
Yeah.
This is me in stage condition, and from that I still eat up until a few weeks out basically what I want. Okay, I eat a lot of healthy foods. Don't get me wrong, but you can see that we've got two living proof of what you can actually achieve by using modern technology.
Yeah.
My fitness pal we use, little plug for my fitness pal there, but basically modern technology like my fitness pal allowing us to track the foods that we eat in the 21st century, and that's the most important thing.
I'm sure there are other ways out there, but my fitness pal
is what we use in the UK.
Best. Yeah,
I think so. So thousands of you guys out there are already following the lifestyle, but for you guys that aren't, basically the guys that have read my book already, you're following calories with a percentage of fats, carbs and proteins.
Mm-hmm.
But kind of the next level, which will be potentially a book that will come out in the future, is macros. So basically what we call our system is the evidence-based, structured, flexible way of eating, is what we said before in the video.
Mm-hmm.
So what we'll probably do now is let James explain what carbs, fats, proteins, and also fibre, and we take micronutrients into it.
Yeah.
So if you could go ahead and explain a little bit about it, maybe.
Yeah, so obviously before I came on board VBL, I saw foods as good foods and bad foods. Now I just see it as numbers.
Okay.
So obviously I track my carbs, track my protein, track my fats.
Yeah.
Chris, each week, depending on my progress and sort of how my body composition's changing, will just update my spreadsheet online. I go on at home, have a look at that, and then I know exactly my carbs, my fats, my proteins, and my fibre.
So we have
what I need to hit.
We have a quite clever way of doing it. We have it online, so it's live.
Like a shared document.
A shared document, so it's quite live. And the other night when we were talking, it was like, I've got to go. For you guys that follow my Snapchat, by the way, you would have seen on Snapchat me taking a mick out of James because he goes, we've got to go home and eat macros. And I was just like, doesn't even eat food anymore, he eats macros.
Eat macros. I eat numbers. That's what I eat.
Anyway, so yeah, obviously you follow the three steps.
Yeah. And it's important, obviously, I'm hitting the fibre content that Chris sets me, because then that gives me a balance of the good food, or the good food and what people call the bad food. So it ensures that I'm hitting the right micronutrients as well, because obviously micronutrient foods are very rich in fibre, right? So I'm getting a perfect balance that way.
Yeah.
Which I think, as you probably agree, the old sort of way of flexible dieting, people just thought they could literally eat what they want, and they weren't taking into account the macros.
Bit of annoyance for me.
Yeah.
Flexible dieter world. and if it fits your macros, is great for body composition. Okay, but unfortunately, fortunately or unfortunately, what happens in the first 3 weeks of following if it fits your macros or a flexible diet plan is everybody goes, as soon as they've kind of realised that it's just numbers, they go, I'm going to eat Pop-Tarts and chocolate and cake. And then what happens is the internet gets bombarded with pictures of Pop-Tarts, chocolate, cake.
And it gives it a bad
name.
Mm-hmm.
So that will happen for the first 3 or 4 weeks.
And sorry, Chris, that stage is so important.
Yeah.
Because you get so sick of doing that after the first few weeks that you start disregarding those foods.
Yeah.
And you actually start to become more macro aware and think, well, hang on, I can go home and eat a massive bowl of oats with some chocolate in it and some frozen fruit and some
you put egg white in yours to make it bigger,
make it more voluminous, or I can eat a little Reese's Buttercup. So your mentality sort of changes. You actually start craving the more voluminous foods and think, well, hang on, I can eat all this food in one meal.
Like we've just had a salad earlier on, and then because of that salad, later on in the day we get to eat a bigger meal, and then we probably, before we go to bed, get our macro mess, we call it, before you go to bed, which is whatever finishes your numbers off, chocolates, fats, carb, chocolate and cake and whatever you need. So that annoyance for me is when people start posting everything up, and it gives it a bad name, and then the clean eating crowd, which is not, I don't feel anything bad about the clean eating crowd. You used to do it, I used to do it. Okay, granted it was 10, maybe 8 years ago for me, and I've been on a flexible diet for a long time.
Yeah.
But they will basically absolutely slate everybody for eating unhealthy, which is correct. But what we do with the Empowered by Lifting lifestyle is we make people eat, or we don't make people, we suggest that you should eat 80% whole food, 20% whatever the hell you want. Mm-hmm. So that 80% is your rice and your broccoli and your vegetables and what varied fruits and whole foods, fish and chicken and everything like that. And that 20% of your calories per day doesn't have to be exact. Obviously, it's just obviously it's flexible. Can be something like your Chomp or your Snickers, or I think I made you eat Snickers for 3 weeks or something to get it out of your system.
Yeah, you actually told me off because initially at first I was starting to like plan. I was meal planning on FitnessPal, and Chris said to me, just eat what you fancy and eat what you want. Don't plan.
Listen to your cravings.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So during your day, you're like, right, what do I want to eat tomorrow? And for you, it was you always wanted to eat Snickers.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, so let's get half a Snickers in every day until you're fed up with it. And now, how do you feel about that? 25 weeks later?
I don't think I've had a Snickers for God knows how long. Because like I was saying, I'd rather go back and eat a massive bowl of oats with...
Exactly. You used to talk about the devil on your shoulder. And then me on the other shoulder.
Yeah.
In your back of your head.
Yeah, it's obviously when you first start, like I was saying earlier on in the video, it's almost too good to be true. And you sat there with your Snickers and you're like... You've got the fitness industry sat on your shoulder going, you should be eating this, there should be a protein shake, what are you doing, that's bad food. And then you've got Chris on the other side saying, eat your Snickers, Yeah. So it's, you've got to be very open-minded.
So overall, awesome prep.
Awesome prep, hopefully.
Really can't wait to see you on the stage. That makes me feel proud to get to where you are now. And I really, really mean that.
Yeah.
You've come a long way from being excessively obese. Your first stage, that was really powerful.
To then getting on board with
the team. And now every time during the first few stages, you were just like learning more and becoming more balanced.
Yeah.
So your lifestyle was balanced.
And it's so funny because now people are seeing that how much better my lifestyle is, and they're messaging me on Facebook. Got people messaging me on Instagram saying, like old friends from school saying I want help with this, that and the other, and I really want to get into flexible dieting, and everyone just seems to love it. So it is proven to work.
So basically we play a game of macro fun sometimes as well. So when you're in the supermarket, you're kind of going, what can I fit in my diet today? And you end up buying loads of voluminous food, so you end up eating loads of vegetables and then whatever you fancy. But if you wanted to follow James, he's on Instagram. You've got your Facebook. You've got we'll be doing a lot of videos like this.
The links will be in the description.
And basically follow James if you want to find out more about us as a company. We've got the website. We're on every channel on social media. To get through to me directly, you can go on my Facebook page. It's mostly open. My Instagram, you can see most of the things I post on there. And that's it. Hope you enjoy it, and hope we've opened a little bit of eyes to actually what flexible dieting is compared to what is perceived as flexible dieting.
Yeah.
And I hope you enjoy that.
And we'll be at Body Power as well.
We'll be at Body Power, yeah.